You're driving alone through the Navajo reservation at 2 a.m. when you see a figure in your headlights, running on all fours at impossible speed alongside your car. As you accelerate to 60 miles per hour, it keeps pace effortlessly, then suddenly stands upright on 2 legs, revealing a grotesquely human face twisted into an animal's features. It locks eyes with you through your passenger window, grins with too many teeth, then vanishes into the darkness. You've just encountered what the Navajo call a ye naldlushi, a skinwalker, and your life will never be the same. For centuries, the indigenous peoples of the American Southwest have whispered about these shape-shifting witches who abandon their humanity to gain the power to transform into any animal. But these aren't just campfire stories. They're sacred warnings about the darkest aspects of human nature and the terrible price of forbidden knowledge. To understand skinwalkers, we must first understand the Navajo spiritual worldview. In Navajo tradition, the universe maintains a delicate balance between good and evil, harmony and chaos. Medicine men, called hatawi, dedicate their lives to healing through sacred rituals and spiritual knowledge. But this same knowledge, when corrupted by greed or desire for power, can be twisted into something utterly evil. According to Navajo belief, skinwalkers are hatawi who have chosen to violate the most fundamental taboos of their culture. They've used their sacred knowledge not to heal, but to harm. The transformation into a skinwalker requires performing unspeakable acts, including murdering close family members and conducting rituals so evil that even speaking about them brings spiritual contamination. The actual transformation process is said to be both physical and spiritual. Skinwalkers wear the pelts of the animals they wish to become, but this is more than simple disguise. The ritual actually merges their consciousness with that of the animal. They can take the form of coyotes, wolves, bears, owls, crows, or foxes, gaining supernatural strength, speed, and senses far beyond what any natural animal possesses. But skinwalkers aren't bound by the limitations of their chosen animal forms. Witnesses describe creatures that combine human intelligence with animal abilities in impossible ways. Coyotes that walk upright and speak in human voices, wolves that run at highway speeds, bears that can unlock doors and manipulate objects with human-like dexterity. Most terrifying of all, they retain their human consciousness and malevolent intelligence throughout the transformation. The motivations attributed to skinwalkers are deeply personal and universally dark. They're said to target specific individuals for revenge, jealousy, or simply the pleasure of causing suffering. Unlike random predators, skinwalkers choose their victims deliberately, often stalking them for weeks or months before striking. They might kill livestock, terrorize families, or drive their targets to madness through psychological warfare. Modern encounters with alleged skinwalkers follow disturbing patterns that span decades. Ranch workers in New Mexico report finding cattle mutilated in ways that defy natural explanation. Surgical precision cuts, missing organs, and complete absence of blood, all without any tracks. Security cameras capture shadowy figures moving with inhuman speed, often appearing to shift between human and animal forms. The most chilling accounts come from Skinwalker Ranch in Utah, a 512-acre property synonymous with paranormal activity. The Sherman family, who owned the ranch in the 1990s, documented years of harassment by entities that seemed capable of shape-shifting at will. Law enforcement officers have their own unexplained encounters, high-speed chases with figures running on foot at impossible speeds, and witnesses who refuse to provide statements due to cultural fears. What makes Skinwalker accounts particularly unsettling is their psychological sophistication. Unlike typical animal attacks, Skinwalker encounters involve deliberate psychological torment. Witnesses report being hunted in ways that suggest the entity understands human fear and exploits it methodically. They might tap on windows in rhythmic patterns, mimic the voices of loved ones, or appear at the edge of vision repeatedly. Dr. Colm Kelleher, who investigated Skinwalker Ranch, documented patterns suggesting these entities possess detailed knowledge of their targets' personal lives and psychological vulnerabilities. This level of intelligence goes far beyond what any known animal could achieve. The cultural impact extends beyond individual encounters. Within Navajo society, accusations of being a skinwalker can destroy lives and fracture communities. This social dimension adds another layer of horror, the fear that your own community might turn against you based on supernatural accusations. From a psychological perspective, skinwalker legends serve multiple functions within indigenous communities. They provide explanations for unexplained phenomena, enforce cultural taboos about the misuse of spiritual power, and offer frameworks for understanding evil within society. The shape-shifting aspect may represent fears about humanity's dual nature, our capacity for both healing and harm. Modern researchers have proposed various theories to explain encounters: misidentification of animals under unusual circumstances, or cultural conditioning influencing perception. However, the consistency of accounts across different tribes and time periods suggests something more complex than simple folklore. The psychological impact on witnesses is undeniably real. People who believe they've encountered these entities often experience long-term trauma and profound changes in their worldview, creating behavioral changes that can affect entire communities. What makes the skinwalker phenomenon challenging for outsiders is its deep integration with Navajo spirituality. These aren't just monster stories. They're integral parts of a belief system, viewing natural and supernatural worlds as connected. The reluctance of many tribal members to discuss skinwalkers with non-Navajos isn't just cultural sensitivity. It's genuine belief that such discussions can attract these malevolent entities. The commercialization of skinwalker stories in popular media has created tensions. Movies and internet content often portray them as generic monsters, stripping away cultural context and sacred significance. This appropriation adds insult to historical injuries suffered by Native American peoples. Recent government programs investigating unidentified phenomena have documented strange occurrences in regions where skinwalker encounters are reported. While no official connections exist, the overlap has sparked new interest in understanding these persistent regional anomalies. The skinwalker phenomenon challenges our understanding of reality, culture, and the nature of belief itself. Whether viewed as literal supernatural entities, psychological manifestations of cultural trauma, or something else entirely, these accounts represent profound human experiences that deserve respectful investigation rather than dismissive skepticism or exploitative sensationalism. For the Navajo and other indigenous peoples of the Southwest, skinwalkers represent more than just scary stories. They're reminders of the constant battle between good and evil, the responsibility that comes with spiritual knowledge, and the dangers of abandoning cultural values in pursuit of personal power. These lessons remain relevant regardless of one's beliefs about the literal existence of shape-shifting witches. The persistence of skinwalker encounters into the modern era suggests that whatever phenomenon underlies these reports, whether supernatural, psychological, or natural, continues to affect people's lives in profound ways. The challenge for researchers is investigating these claims while respecting the cultural contexts from which they emerge. What do you think explains the consistency of Skinwalker accounts across time and geography? Are we dealing with unknown natural phenomena, cultural memory of ancient traumas, or something that transcends current scientific